to talk about what it means for us as a ticketing industry, and I want to give you a new perspective on some things that we've done in New Zealand that you may be able to use in your market. So before we get into the mobile side of things, I thought it would be useful to introduce Snapper. Snapper is a contactless ticketing scheme that operates in Wellington, New Zealand. We have over 300,000 cards on issue, and what we do is pretty much what everyone else in this room does. We facilitate public transport journeys from A to B. We make that easy for our customers and our public transport operators. But Snapper's a lot more than that. What we've done with Snapper is we've extended it to integrate with other ecosystems. So a Snapper card user can use their Snapper card to buy a flat white, a really good one, like we do at our booth downstairs. They can take a journey on a taxi. They can pay for their on-street parking. They can buy their lunch in a retailer. And more recently, we've extended that to include mobile. And the way we thought about this was really trying to use mobile with the card instead of mobile instead of the card. And it's that journey that I want to take you on today. And when we think about this, I want to talk about this from a very strategic perspective to start with. Why is mobile important for transport ticketing? Because it's eating the world. It's driving a significant shift in how we do things, how we connect with each other, how we relate to services that we use every day. But from a ticketing transport industry, it's caused significant challenges. And the reason for that is that ticketing technology has not been designed to easily integrate with mobile. And the challenge for most of us in this room is this. You've got this power that's in your customer's hands, and it's inaccessible to you. You can't leverage it. And at the same time, you've got these investments that you've made in ticketing systems, and you want to be able to extend those as long as you can. And it's being able to balance that challenge is the main concern that mobile raises for us. And I think when we start to think about moving towards open loop in the future, this gets even more complex, because the investments you make today have to be future-proof towards open loop. And in our industry, mobile has really meant this. This has been the promise. This is one of the earlier Nokia NFC phones, and it's about using your mobile as a ticket. And the reality for most of us in this room is that that is not feasible at scale until we move to contactless EMT. The systems are just not compatible. But I don't want you to give up there. I want you to think a bit differently about it. I want you to think about using the mobile and the card. So what we've learned as a transport ticketing provider, I want to share with you now. Because it's changed the way that we've run our strategy. It's changed what we're doing as a business. And it may apply to you in your market. I want to start at the beginning. The first reason. And it's really simple. Smartphones are exploding. There is a very intelligent man from the UK called Benedict Evans. He is a world-known mobile industry analyst, and he has coined the phrase, mobile is eating the world. Some of these graphs I'm showing you from some of his research. So you can see here, tablets and smartphones are selling more than 2 to 1 compared to PCs. So the personal computer of choice is in your hand. So mobile has eaten PCs. It's eating the internet. There is more traffic on the internet through mobile than there is through a PC. It's eaten cameras in terms of the number of photographs that are taken. And if you're paying any attention to what Apple announced yesterday, it's starting to eat payment. Apple announced that in the US, in the last period, for every $3 that was spent on using contactless cards, $2 was spent using Apple Pay. So it's already accelerating there. So we think ticketing is next. And some people think that that's where it ends. Well, it doesn't end there. This is actually accelerating further. So when we add those numbers together, you can see that rate of acceleration of mobile compared to PCs, and it looks impressive. And some people think we're topping out there, that we've reached peak smartphone. But if you zoom out, you'll see that it's got a long way to run. So in this graph here, the top red line shows all mobile phones sold. Smartphones are only making up 1/3 of mobile phones sold today. So if you're thinking you're getting pressure from your customers to adapt to mobile and to smartphones, and that might be where it sits, well, that pressure is only going to intensify. Thirdly, and there's no surprise to people in this room, payments and ticketing systems are converging. And this is fundamental. It's probably the biggest shift that will impact on this industry. This is much more than a format change of changing from a token to a magstripe card to a smart card. The entire role of the Transport Authority changes. I don't think anyone put it better than TfL yesterday when they said they were getting out of the ticketing business. So their role is changing from a scheme operator to a merchant. And they're not the only ones. You've got Salt Lake City, you've got Cape Town, you've got Chicago. There is more and more that are moving this way. So that's an inexorable pressure. The good news is, because we need some good news in all of this, too many challenges so far, is that mobile can deliver. And what we've started to see is that it's started to take the opportunities in some of these areas, but not in all of them. When we think about mobile delivery, we think about three different things. We think about, can you use your smartphone as part of your daily ticketing process? Can that integrate with your system as it stands today? And can that take you forwards? We've got three really simple examples here. QR code ticketing has been a bolt-on that sits next to your ticketing systems. It works really well generally from a smartphone perspective, but it doesn't necessarily integrate. I think I've been really pleased to hear during the conference, Vix in particular, talking about their new project in Rome, where they're going to have a QR code system that integrates with the back end. I think those things are really important in terms of moving smartphones on, in terms of taking a more important role. The second one is mobile issuance, being able to issue your smart card on your phone. That is an area where there have been a lot of pilots. And I think we use a term in New Zealand that pilots are for planes. They're not really useful sometimes for actually proving things other than the technology. So other than Korea, Japan, and in New Zealand, these things haven't scaled. And then lastly, we've got open loop, which actually can use a smartphone. We're seeing that with Apple Pay. I mean, effectively smartphone support is built into that product right from day one. It doesn't integrate with your system as it stands today, but it does take you forward. And what we think is a gap for something that can do all three things. So when we thought about how we were going to address that gap, there were lots of different perspectives that we could address this from. We could address it from a technology perspective. We could address it from a business perspective, what was best for our business case. But it turns out the best way to address this is from a customer perspective. And when we started observing what our customers did, it became very clear to us that we weren't going to solve that many problems by putting a ticket onto a phone. But we were going to solve problems by using the smart card and the phone. And the types of problems that we solve are those inconveniences that frustrate customers every day. The need to wait in line for a TVM. The need to find a retailer or a ticket office to reload your product. The need to stay on hold waiting to get through to a call centre. Those are the simple frustrations that we can improve. And they want to know why they can't do that on their phone now, because they can do it with all these other services on their phone. And it turns out, if you resolve these things, which is the sixth reason why mobile is important for your strategy, what's good for your customers is good for you. If you don't have to put more TVMs out there, if you don't have to put in more retail points of presence for reload, if you can serve your customers personally, anytime, anywhere, right to them, then those things are good for you. You get better service at a lower cost. So those are the 6 reasons. If you've noticed, because we're Snapper, we always do something a little extra. So we've got a bonus reason for you. And the bonus reason is this. The technology is available today that lets you do this now. That technology has been proven in other industries. In the banking industry, in the mobile application industry, in the cloud industry. It's secure, it's scalable, and it lets you integrate into your existing system without having to change that system. So here are the 7 reasons why we think you need a mobile strategy. Smartphones are exploding. That acceleration is only increasing. The payment and ticketing industries are converging. Seeing the ability of mobile to deliver. Mobile can improve the user experience. And what's good for that user is good for you. And technology lets you do this now. So that's what we found when we looked at this a few years ago. So what we did was we looked at this and said, well, what are we going to do? If we're going to do something in mobile, do we do this the normal way? Significant point-to-point integration with our existing provider, or could we do something different? And so we found a way to develop a service that integrated with what we had, which was a scheme with a proven interoperability specification. And the architecture is really simple. It looks like this. On the left-hand side, we have our back office. We have our interoperability specification that sends configuration data through to an integration layer and sends usage data back. That integration layer is made up of 4 components. A system to understand the interface back into the back office. A business rule engine so we can work out what rules we need to apply and when. And a connection manager that let us access these ecosystems of mobile, of retail payment terminals, and of online. And all underpinned by a security manager, so the integrity of their scheme is intact. And we started on this journey with Retail Reload, because this is 2009, and mobile wasn't ready yet. And what we wanted was a Retail Reload network that was broad and relatively low cost. And rather than putting out our own terminals into retailers, we thought we could leverage the existing retailer terminal that they had there, the contactless capability. And so we integrated with Verifone. We started the first step. And that gave us access to up to 50,000 terminals. So we could pick the retailers that we thought were going to be the best fit, rather than being held ransom by retailers who might want to use us. And customers told us that was great. They had lots of places to top up. But they said they wanted more. They said they wanted to be able to top up at home. They wanted to be able to top up on a Sunday night before they went to work and the kids went to school. So we extended the system with a USB smart card reader. A desktop app, which was compatible with PC and Mac. And again, securely checking your balance and doing reloads directly onto your Snapper card. Instant and convenient. And then it became clear that mobile was getting ready. And in 2012, we launched our first mobile application. It's based on an Android phone. And it's really simple. It's a companion application to the smart card. The customer just holds their smart card to an NFC phone. They can check their balance. They can do an instant reload onto that card. They can see their transaction history. And they can perform basic self-service functions. We didn't stop here. We actually added another function on this, which was the ability to issue the Snapper card onto a phone. And we can talk about that in the Q&A later. I want to dig into the performance of that app now to show you what it actually does for you. In the last 3 years, downloads have accelerated. So we have a large number of people who are using this app on a daily basis. It's made up over 10% of our reloads, and it's continuing to grow. The one thing that drives growth are more devices that support the capability. So obviously, as more and more Android devices become available, integrating with those. And as we see, Windows Phone and iOS gain traction in this area, we'll be integrating there too. So it's a service that customers use. The other thing that they tell us is that they really like it. So we measure customer satisfaction through something called Net Promoter Score. It's a really simple metric, and it allows us to ask our customers twice a year what they think of the service on an ongoing basis. You have promoters and detractors. If you have more promoters, it's positive. If you have more detractors, it's negative. Reasonable scores in the service industry are around about 0 to 20 mark. High performance is 30 plus. Exceptional Apple-type performance is 50 plus. We're sitting, as you can see, around the mid-30s, and that's starting to accelerate as more and more customers start to use the service. And the type of things they tell us are this when we ask them why are they giving us high ratings. They're saying it's instant, it's convenient, we're not having to teach them about NFC phones, they just get it. And then lastly, when you look at what this means to us as a business, it's actually had the side benefit of fundamentally transforming our reload economics. So typical costs of reload that we see when we do whole of life, when you look at TVMs, putting in place retail terminals, your payment gateway, the fees that you pay to your retailers can be around the 7% mark. It'd be pretty high. Our cost for mobile is 2.5%. We've basically driven it down to the cost of processing a card payment. So that's a pretty significant staff there. So we thought about these things in terms of what we'd discovered, and every time we'd talk to a transport authority, they wanted to know more about it. They wanted to know, well, how do we do these things and where could they get them? So as Snapper, we started to ask ourselves some questions. If you notice, we ask ourselves a lot of questions. We thought, well, what if we could actually share this more broadly? What if we could help other transport authorities take advantage of mobile growth? What if we could help them leverage their customer smartphones? What if we could integrate with those existing schemes more easily and deliver experiences that customers wanted? And what if we could improve your cost structure? So after asking those questions, we decided to take the first step. And last year, working with our very close partners, VIX, we were successful in tendering to provide a mobile reload service to the NTA in Ireland. So VIX is leading this project. They are the people on the ground. They're doing the project management. And Snapper is just merely the capability that sits in the back that enables that interface with the lead card. That project is going fantastically. We've just passed our first significant milestone in terms of integrating with the lead card. If you saw the symposium yesterday, the seminar at the VIX stand, you'd see that we've got full integration with the lead card, and now we're just working on the next stage, which is just getting the rest of the application complete, which will happen later this next year. So we've proved that we can integrate with other schemes, we've proved that we can work with partners, and we can prove that we can work with customers on the other side of the world. These are all important things to have done. So now that we've demonstrated that, we wanted to take the next step. So today I'm happy to announce that we are able to make these services available to all transport authorities. If you want to execute a mobile strategy, then we think we can help. We offer mobile, online and retail reload. And we're going to help you do more with what you've got already, what you've already invested into your existing system. All you need is a proven interoperability specification, and we can do the rest. We think every transport authority deserves the opportunity to take advantage of this shift to mobile. So if you want to know more, come and see us at the Snapper coffee stand. We've talked to a lot of you already in the last couple of days. We've still got a bit more time left. We've got a new website that we've put out to make these services available, which you can see here, and a new Twitter handle. So I think sort of with that, all I wanted to do was just say thank you to the organisers of the conference. It's been a great conference for us. We've learned a lot. We've met some great new people and renewed some acquaintances with some old friends. We're looking forward to the next one. And by the number of comments we've had from people on our stand, it seems that Clarion will do well to perhaps add New Zealand as a stop on the World Series tour. There seems to be a lot of people who want to visit. So maybe we might see you there. Thank you very much.
We've got time for one question.